Hello, and welcome back to the Pawn Pro podcast, hosted by me, Tally Mack. The Pawn Pro podcast is dedicated to helping pawnbrokers and small business owners thrive in today's ever-evolving landscape. And by request, we are going to be breaking down critical topics facing small businesses in quick 5 to 10 minute episodes. We're going to cover everything from leadership to Operation Choke Point, from AI to human resources, just one topic at a time. So welcome back to the show. Today we are diving into a topic that is super near and dear to my heart, and it's something that I've been exploring and actively cultivating over the last 5 years in my own life, which is called sacred relationships. This concept really crystallized for me a few years ago. I had a YPO forum retreat with a gentleman named Jim Mitchell, and it's fundamentally shifted how I approach the connections that really matter to me most. So before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's touch on a core truth about the human experience. And as Jim shared in our retreat, before we leave this world, we should be consistently asking ourselves 3 super powerful questions. What can I learn? How can I heal? And how do I feel? These questions are the compass towards guiding our journey, and when we're intentional about them, their impact ripples outwards to the people that we care about most. So they are 1, what can I learn? 2, how can I heal? And 3, how do I feel? Now, think about the sheer number of people that you interact with. There was an evolutionary psychologist named Robin Dunbar who suggested that humans can cognitively handle around 150 meaningful social relationships, which is a lot, right? But when you consider the inbound tons of social relationships we can have between work and our social circles and Instagram and all of the social medias, when we really get down to it, the number of people that we can truly pour into is just a fraction of that. And these are the ones who deeply impact our lives and to whom we can offer significant support. And again, I think that number is closer to around 30. I've kind of played with it being around 40, around 20. But my sweet spot's around 30, and this is what I call sacred relationships. So who are these 30 individuals in your life? Think about it for a moment. And here's the super critical question. Do you treat them like they are the most absolute precious individuals that they are? And would they say that they've been treated like the most precious people to you? And how do you want to show up for these people who literally mean the world to you? I have my list of my sacred relationships. Right now, it's at 28 people. It's a dynamic list. It's one that evolves over the years. And people who were central in it maybe in 2021 aren't on it today. And this year, I added actually 3 new people to my list. It's not about judgment, it's about recognizing the landscape of your most vital connections, and really it's about recognizing the bandwidth that you have for these people. So the core of cultivating these sacred relationships is what I call vision, and similar to the vision that you have for your company or for your life, I have vision within each of my key connections, and I actively curate this list. It's not like a business plan. It's a framework that usually includes core values that I want to uphold within that relationship, kind of like love languages, if you will. The journey that I want to co-create with them. So what things do we like to do together, and what role and who do I want to be in this journey? So this is the intentional, meaningful part of what kind of friend and sacred relationship do I aspire to be? And when I talk about vision and journey and who I want to be, these things aren't like elaborate and paragraphs long. Like some of it is one of my best friends and person on my sacred relationship, she really values quality time. I know this about her. So when we hang out, we go to coffee, my phone is away, I am fully present. I make time to schedule more quality time together. And I just really pour into that friend that way. And I know that it doesn't matter the amount of time that we spend together. It's more about the quality of the time that we spend together. And so I just make sure that I'm intentional about this. This does not have to be super complicated. Jim also talked about in this retreat this thing called the chair of truth. And the chair of truth is kind of like if you passed away and this sacred relationship was sitting in the chair of truth, what would they say about the way you made them feel? What would their honest assessment of your role in their life be? How would they describe you? And in that chair of truth moment, would you hear what you wanted to hear? Would you hear something that you're proud of and something that your efforts actually went towards? And this exercise of creating visions has been really transformative for the most important people in my life. It's provided really good perspective on who pours into me, and equally important, more important, who I consciously pour into. So this list of your sacred relationships, it's deeply personal, it's confidential. It should be created without any shame or judgment. If someone you expected to be on the list isn't there, acknowledge the feeling, maybe ask yourself why, but don't dwell on it. This is about your current reality, and it's about your intentional choices moving forward. And the intentionality around our sacred relationship isn't just like warm fuzzies. It actually has direct impact on our productivity and even our business success. And that's why I'm talking about it today in the podcast, because I think these things are incredibly important, even though they might not be the thing that you're doing when you walk into your brick and mortar every day and open your store. If you think about it, when your key relationships are a strong and really healthy part of your life, that means you have a solid support system. You have reliable partners. You have a network of individuals who can offer valuable insights and opportunities. These are people that cheer for you, that check in on you, and that congratulate you for your success. And they're there to walk you through tribulations. And conversely, strained or neglected relationships are a drain on your energy and focus. And again, this impacts your performance at work. And so these things really matter. There is a really important distinction, I think, between important people and sacred people in your life. And while many relationships in our lives are important, like colleagues we work with and people that we see a lot, our sacred relationships are different. They deserve a protected status, especially when it comes to our time and energy. These are the connections that deeply nourish us. When you hear glass full, these are people that when you leave or hang up the phone from talking to them, your glass is overflowing. They contribute significantly to your growth. They're foundational to your personal and professional well-being. And treating them as sacred means consciously prioritizing them in your schedule and not just fitting them in when you have a spare moment. So, action. How do we identify these sacred relationships? It really starts with a sacred relationship inventory exercise. And so this week, I encourage you to take some time and really think about these relationships that deserve your priority. What would the people that are on this list say in the chair of truth? Who are the individuals who consistently uplift you, who challenge you in a positive way, and are integral to your success and happiness? Your sacred relationships can be business partnerships. They can be people that you work with. They can be mentors that you have. They can be personal relationships. They can be familial relationships. Once you've identified these people, the next part is time allocation. And this part is really important because it's one thing to make a list. It's another thing to have a super busy schedule where you kind of push these most important people in your life to the back burner. And so we actually have to be really intentional about carving out dedicated time for these people. Sometimes this means calendaring it. This means scheduling regular check-ins. This means being more engaged when you do interact. And it's about making these relationships a non-negotiable part of your week. And so to help with consistent connection, I really recommend a weekly relationship check-in method where you're looking at the list and making sure that you've spoken with, checked in with, talked to, have a trip planned with somebody on your list or a handful of people on your list every week. And it doesn't have to be lengthy. Again, it can be a quick text message, a quick moment of gratitude for this person. It's just a really simple practice to maintain connection, even amidst really busy seasons in your life. And it's equally important to be aware of warning signs that some of these relationships might be neglected, and that happens too. We're people, we get busy. That might include like feeling distant or experiencing a lack of communication or noticing a decline in mutual support or just a general sense of disconnection. You probably have people in your head that you're thinking that this might actually be that person. What's awesome about recognizing it is that then you can take proactive steps to re-engage and nurture the relationship. So I'm going to pause right there. If anybody popped into your mind as definitely a sacred relationship, but one that might be neglected, take a second and text that person right now. At the end of every month, I always take score of the following areas in my life: relationships, physical, spiritual, work or vocation, personal growth, play, and peace. These also have to do with the way that I set goals and the way that I brain dump, which I'm happy to talk more about. But I rank these 1 to 10. And if I'm being honest, relationships, sacred relationships, have been a low score on my monthly kind of list because I've been really busy lately. I have a baby, I've got a family, we got a puppy, work is busy. And so I actually have been spending a lot of time in the last few days thinking about how I can pour into my sacred relationships in a way that feels authentic, but also isn't like my entire day, if you know what I mean. I think small actions here can really make a big impact, and it really turns my mood around from feeling guilty that I haven't been in touch to feeling like my glass is starting to fill again. So to ensure this kind of attention, I encourage you to document some type of scoring system on your sacred relationships. It can be monthly. I do mine monthly. It could be quarterly. I have a doc in my notes on my iPhone that has all of my sacred relationships. You could have it in there. You could have it on a piece of paper, but I do encourage you to write it down and then build this system of checking in into your day planner, into your calendar, into your week of, which is the organization system that I've created and that I like the best. But by making them visible and top of mind, you are more likely to prioritize them into your actions. So here's your tangible action step before next episode. Open your favorite app, put on some vibey music, whatever helps you get into a reflective space. My favorite is EDM, no lyrics. That's my Spotify playlist that I'm currently into. And start brain dumping your list of sacred people. Remember, it's confidential. It should be created shame-free. There is no judgment here. If someone you expected isn't there, don't dwell on it. Just get the names down and see how many there are. I think you'll be surprised that it's not this huge, massive list of 50 or more people. Over the next few weeks, I encourage you to start creating these visions for each of your sacred relationships. This part takes time. Some will be in depth, Others might be surface level. That's okay. If you feel called to take action on any of these visions, immediately do it. Just send the text, just make the call, just leave the voice memo. And remember to come back to this list however frequently you want. I do it quarterly. Ask yourself honestly, am I treating each of these people like the most precious individuals that they are in my life? And if the answer is no, commit to doing something about it. There's no time like the present, and your sacred relationships will be happy that they heard from you. So, to recap, relationships are deeply embedded into our human experience, but we can only really pour into a limited number of deep connections. Again, my guess is around 30. If someone holds a sacred place in your life, they should know that they are one of the most precious people to you. And organizing your list and being intentional about how you show up is key to building connection and deep friendship and trust and fulfillment. If you can tell, I love this topic. Thank you for joining me today as we explore the power of sacred relationships. I encourage you to take that first step this week and start identifying those individuals who truly matter the most. I look forward to continuing this conversation with you in future episodes. I also have a blog about this on my personal website, which is tallymack.com. If you go to blog, you'll see a blog about sacred relationships. Until then, take care and invest in those sacred connections. Thanks. Until next time.